Hey guys, today we're going to be doing the Chapter 4 guided program development. So for this one we're going to start a new project. So you're going to want to click on the new project here or go up here to File and choose New Project. Okay, make sure you've got a Windows Forms application. We're going to rename it. We're going to call it Digital Download. Choose OK. This is going to start our form. Alright, we're going to start. Make sure your toolbox is open. If it's not, you just need to pin it. So if it's off on the side like this, you're just going to choose the toolbox and you're going to pin it so that it's available on the left side of your screen. We're going to start by renaming our form. So we're going to choose right click, choose rename, and we're going to call this Form Downloads. So FRM Downloads. Okay, remember to name all of your elements. You have to name every single one of your elements. Okay, so the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the title on the title bar, so up here. So make sure you're clicked on here so you've got your properties showing. The title is in your text property, so we're going to change the title to Download Music. Oops. So Download Music. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to resize the form. You can either resize it by clicking on this and dragging it to resize, or if you know what size you want to get, you just need to go up to the size property, which is after MQRS. Okay, and for the size property for this one, we're going to make it 425 by 500. So the by is a comma, so 425 by 500. Next, we're going to add a picture box object. So we're going to double click on picture box and it's going to show up there. We're going to change the name of the picture box to, we're going to call it Pick Music. No, we're going to call it Pick. Oh yeah, we are going to call it Pick Music. Pick Music. Sorry, I needed to double check on that. Didn't want to give you guys the wrong information. Pick Music, okay, and that's short for picture, not for pick music. We're going to resize our object, so we're going to go down to the size property, PQRS. So our size is going to be 405 by 175. Okay, we're going to move this to the bottom of our screen. So if you just click on it, you can drag it down to the bottom. And I can't see the bottom, so you want to get it kind of nestled right there in the little bottom section. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to make a label. Okay, we're going to call this, if it goes into your picture box, the reason it went into my picture box is because I had the picture box selected when I created the label. If you don't want to do that, just make sure you click out when you double click. So I'm going to change the name of my label. So make sure your label is selected. Okay, actually I'll change the text first since I'm already down here. So Digital Downloads is going to be our text. We're going to change the title of this to be Label Heading, LBL Heading. Excuse me. We're going to change the font. So again, we're going to go down to Font. Okay, and we're going to change our font to Cooper. Okay, we're going to make it black, keep it at black, and we're going to change the size to 18. Okay, and then what we're going to do is we're going to center that on the form, so make sure you've got it selected. You're going to go to the Format menu, choose Center and Form, and we're going to center it horizontally. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add another label. Click out so that it's not selected, otherwise the label will appear in the other label. which isn't a big deal. You just move it, but still. Okay, so we're creating another label, and we're going to call this label label cost heading. So we're going to go down here, and we're going to do label cost heading. Okay, we're going to change the text. So the text property, QRST, we're going to change the text property to $x.xx per download. Okay, and this is going to be a sizing thing. When we do the programming, we're going to have the information in there that we need. So we have XXX per download. Okay, we're going to change the font on this to Century Gothic. So, and when you're working with a program, you really should have only 2 fonts. So you shouldn't do more than 2 fonts. It starts to get confusing. So the 2 we're using here are the Cooper and the Century Gothic. The Century Gothic is going to be for our body text, and then our Cooper is going to be for our headings. So we're going to make that regular. We're going to make it 12 point. Okay, and then we're just going to move that down here right underneath our digital downloads, and we're going to format, and you can do your center and form again horizontally, and that just assures that it's in where it's supposed to be. Okay, now the next thing we're going to do is we're going to add a label for the number of song downloads. So again, click out so that you've got it separate. So we're going to do the number of song downloads. We're going to call this one okay, we're going to call this label LBL number of downloads. And we're not going to change the font property. We're going to change, we're going to leave that for now, but we do need to change the text property. So we're going to change the text property to, and we're going to make it say number of downloads. How surprising is that? Number of downloads. Okay, now we're going to do a text box. Now, only use the text boxes. I forgot to move this. Only use the text boxes if the user is going to put information in it, because my number 1 rule for programming is that users are stupid. So because users are stupid, what we need to do is we need to program for the lowest common denominator, the most stupid user you can think of. So it may seem really obvious, and you think, oh, well, you know, who's going to question that? Everybody knows how to do that. Again, program for the lowest common denominator. Okay, so we're going to name this TXT, and then because we called this one number of downloads, we're going to call this one number of downloads too. And the reason we do that is because these 2 are related to each other, and so we want to keep them the same. Okay, we're going to change the text in here to $$$$, and the reason that we're changing the text is we're not going to leave this in here. We're just doing that for sizing so that we can see how big we need to make the box. Actually, we're going to do 888. Sorry. The reason we do 888 is because 888 is the widest character. So 8 is the widest character, and that helps us to adjust the size. Now, we're not going to do that now because I'm going to do these other 2 labels, and then we're going to do all of the font at once. So I'm going to show you how to do that. So we're going to do 2 more labels. So we've got label 1 and 2. Now put them kind of in order for your how you downloaded them. And the reason we put them in order is because you have something called a tab index, which we're not going to learn about this class, but if you take Java 2, you'll learn about the tab index. But you know, when you hit the tab key and you move to the next thing, what that is that's the tab index. And you can actually change the tab index, but since we're not doing that, we're going to skip doing that. Just make sure that when you build your form, you build it in the order you want it to be filled out, and then that way you won't have to worry about that. Okay, so we're going to rename this one. We're going to call this is going to be label total cost label. And the reason we're putting the label there is because we're going to have a total cost, another label that's just going to be total cost. Okay, so then we're going to change the text property to what is the text property for this one? Total cost of downloads. Total cost of downloads. Okay, so we've got our name is label total cost label, and our text is total cost of downloads. Now, this one is also going to be a label, and it's also going to be total cost because we need to name them similarly. Okay, don't worry about that. This one, well, don't worry about that. We'll talk about that in a second. I accidentally double-clicked, which is why I did that. So this label, what we're going to do is we're going to call this one label total cost. So the other one is the label for the total cost, and this one is actually the total cost. So that's going to go there. So we have our total cost label, and we're going to fill in our, we're going to fill in our text as, and we're going to do $888.88. And again, that's just for the purposes of the form. We're going to, at a later time, we're going to take that out and we're going to fix it. So what we're going to do now is we're going to change the font property for these. So what we're going to do is click all of these. Hold our Shift key or our Control key down, and we're going to select each of these because the font for all of these is going to be the same. So rather than changing them individually, we're going to change them all at the same time. So these are all going to be the Century Gothic, Century Gothic right here, regular, and the font size is going to be, I'm looking for it in the assignment. I think it's 11. Yes, 11. Okay, see now how that changed it all at the same time. So it really saves us some time and energy in trying to do that. Now we need to work with these individually again. So you're going to click out so that you can select one. You need to make sure that these don't overlap. We're going to resize this box so that it fits. Okay, make sure that the placement is correct. Okay, same thing for this. This one fits. Make sure your placement is correct. Okay, then once you've got that, we're going to go to this number of downloads, and we're going to delete the, we're going to go to the text box, and we're going to delete this because we do not need it. And then it doesn't matter if you leave this because what we're going to do is I think this is disabled. Okay, it leaves it there, but we're going to talk about that in a minute. Okay, so next thing we're going to do is we're going to add buttons to the bottom. So we're going to do button, button, button. Again, make sure that you put them in the right location. Okay. It doesn't matter if they're not spaced right. We'll fix that eventually. So we're going to do button calculate for this one. Since I'm in the text, I'm going to do calculate cost. And then I'm going to go up to the name, and I'm going to do button calculate. Okay. For button 2, we're going to call that button clear. Button clear. And we're going to change the text property on that one to clear. And then we're going to change button 3. Oops, since I'm already down in text, I might as well do that one. We're going to do button 3 exit, and we're going to scroll all the way to the top again, and we're going to rename this button exit. Okay, remember you have to name every single one of your objects. I mean, seriously, every single one. Okay, now what we're going to do is our calculate is too small, so we're going to make that bigger. Oops. So that it fits. Okay. Now it says to just make this bold, so I'm going to select all of these. It says just to make the text bold, but like I said, 2 fonts is really more appropriate, so I'm going to go ahead and change my font to the Century Gothic. Now you can do this if you want, you don't have to, but like I said, 2 fonts is technically the rule, so we're going to do that. We're going to make it bold, and you can leave it at 8 point. That's fine. Okay, now you want all of these to be the same. Okay, so you want this one this one, and this one to be the same. Oops, this one, and this one to be the same. So we're going to go into the format. We're going to choose make same size with. The height is already the same size. Now I'm going to do my horizontal spacing. I'm going to make it equal. Okay, and then I'm going to center in form horizontally. Okay, so you can see that it's really easy to make your form look neat by selecting things like that. Okay, so now our form looks nice and neat and pretty. So the next thing we're going to do is change the back color of the form. So select the form, and we're going to choose back color. Back color. Okay, we're going to go to our web colors, and we're going to choose white. You can choose whatever color you want. It doesn't really matter. Okay, the next thing we're going to do is we're going to change the fore color here, 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 and also here. Okay, so we're going to go and we're going to find fore color. That's the front ground color. Again, we're going to go to web. Oops, that was wrong. Again, we're going to go to web, and we're going to make this red. Red. Okay, so now it's looking kind of funky. So now we're going to set the clear and the cost button for the proper one. So we're going to make so click on the form, and we're going to find accept button. Accept button. So accept button we're going to set as the calculate cost. So that means when the person presses enter, it's going to press that button. Okay, now the cancel button, ABC, the cancel button is going to be our clear button. So when they press escape, it's going to show the clear button. Okay, next we're going to put an image in here. So we're going to go down to our image. We're going to choose our ellipsis. Okay, we're going to do project resource file. We're going to import. What this does is that means when you save it, it'll save all together for exporting. Going to go to your data files, chapter 4. We're going to pick this music right here. Okay, and you can see that it doesn't really fit quite right. It's a little smushy. So what we're going to do is we're going to go down to size mode, and we are going to choose stretch image. And what that does is it kind of smushes it a little bit. So now his head is a little bit warped, but you can't really tell. So it's no big deal. Okay. All right. So that's that for designing your form. On the next one, we're going to come back and we're going to code it.